straight men that like to wine and dine women, that like to take them out, be in their presence because they just love the feminine energy that comes with it. Where are those types of men? Because I want to go on a date. I can't lie. I want to be treated like a princess on a date. I want to get dressed up and go and eat, have good chat, good banter, and then we go on our merry way. Like, not for any reason, not for any sexual end, just for company, companionship, conversation, and nice time. Where are those types of men?
But you don't want him to be gay. Not gay men, though. You want words, but you don't. I don't understand that. You're not talking about anything sexual. You're not. But you don't want him to be gay. I'm trying to understand the psychology. I'm trying to get into your mind here. Where are the straight men who want to wine and dine you, take you on a nice date, have a good time? Nothing sexual. There's no end goal afterwards. But not the gay men. Why would you care if they're gay or not? If you're not looking for anything sexual, you're not looking for, just go on your merry way. A gay best friend will be able to do exactly that. With no sexual expectations, just being a friend. This gives me the same vibe as this video right here. A part of me thinks that it's some sort of like a superiority complex. Maybe they don't know about it. Like this idea that men should just want to be around women because women are women and they're just so great to be around just because of like their existence. It's very strange.
You know what I was thinking? Would men still date women if they couldn't have access to their bodies? Like, let's just say I was dating a guy and I was like, yeah, I don't want to have sex for 2 years. Would men still date me? If you told your boyfriend, I don't want to have sex for 6 months, would he still date you?
Why would you even think that we would? That's the real question. If men decided, we're not gonna pay for anything for 2 years, would you still date them? Probably not, right? What you're describing is a friendship. It's very doable. There are a lot of men and women who are friends. Even though I might find it, you might find it, it happens. If that's what you want, then go and get that. Why this weird being pushed onto heterosexual relationships? Oh, why don't men just want to be around women and just give them their time and energy with nothing in return? Why would we want to do that? What's the benefit? Men like to spend time with women who they're with. What comes with that? Intimacy. Very important aspect of a relationship. You remove intimacy, oftentimes relationships don't work. Everything else would have to be perfect. And that's not the case for most relationships. So yeah, no, men wouldn't want to be with you if there was no sex involved. I'm sorry, maybe call us misogynistic, call us whatever the case is, but it's just not real. And there aren't men who just want to wine and dine women for no reason.
Kendra G touched on a topic that was very interesting. So she talked about how women always come to her and be like, where's the men? Where's the men? So evidently she gave them like some homework to do. She told them, okay, when you go out the next day, I want you to count every man that you see that day. And the women went out and they counted however many men they seen in that day doing a normal everyday things that they do, and came back to her and told her how many men they counted. Now, the reason why she did that is because she wanted them to see that on a normal basis, how many men you come across who don't even register in your radar. Like, you don't even realize those men even exist because you're either not attracted to them or it's just nothing about them that stands out enough for them to be memorable. Therefore, it leads you to say stuff like, where's all the men at? So I say all of that to say, for some reason, women don't get when that's a thing for men too. Like when y'all get online and y'all say that it's all these baddies walking around and ain't no attractive men. Have you ever thought to yourself that maybe men feel exactly the same way you feel? Like, have you ever thought about the fact that you done been at an event before, right? You, your homegirls, y'all done been at an event, and there's been a group of men there who was fine. And you might have thought that those men were attractive. And after those men left, they went and told their friends that it wasn't nothing but a bunch of ugly hoes at that event. There wasn't no bad ones up in there. Right? Like, dead serious. Really think about this. The same way you think that you don't ever see no attractive men, there's a lot of men who you ain't picking up on their radar either. Whenever they see you, they don't see you. Right? So, like, you could be right there in their face and they don't remember you. You could be at the grocery store shopping in a red shirt, and he leave out that store and somebody asks him, you remember that girl that was in Whole Foods with the red shirt on? And he gonna be like, who? Wasn't no girl in Whole Foods with no red shirt on. You didn't even pick up on his radar. He didn't even see you. You didn't even exist in his mind. You were invisible to him. I don't think how many people don't realize how invisible you are to other people. When somebody, you ain't they type, you ain't what they like, you don't even register in their mind as existing. You might as well be invisible. And so women act like this is only something that exists for women, but this also exists for men. So when you asking where are the men, there's the same men are asking where are the women. Y'all are both asking the same question because y'all are both not finding each other desirable enough to pick up on the radar.
Completely and utterly correct. Here's the thing though. A lot of women have convinced themselves, and I'm sure you guys have seen this take online, I see so many baddies. But the men are just, So in their mind, it is something that only happens for women because they've convinced themselves that they're just baddies, just walking around. And if they believe it, then it must be real. Right? If they believe it, then surely the men also believe that as well. It's just a bunch of baddies walking around. But in reality, it's not the case. And I always speak about this in my personal life. And I feel like I'd say humble. I don't overvalue my importance. Not in other people's life, not in the grand scheme of things. Never done it. So the concept of people finding me invisible, for example, yeah, it makes sense. But a lot of people center themselves a lot, man, and they think they're something. They think they're really that important. Oh, I'm out here. Everybody should just be like approaching me and you know, everybody sees me and nobody's approaching me because I'm just like super main character and it's because they're all intimidated. And no, you're just not that special in reality. You're just like a normal person that we see every day.
Okay, if we're going to talk about the reason why men aren't approaching women, and then I get comments saying modern feminism did that, you guys did it to yourself, and there's like 1,700 likes on it, there's a problem here, okay? First of all, if you are the person that's commenting that, then I think you don't know social cues, you lack self-confidence, and you don't know how to read the room. And that's not a us problem, that's a you problem, baby. Because you're saying that because women stuck up for themselves, because men were being absolutely creepy, going too far, not taking social cues, making women uncomfortable, not knowing the time or place to do it. For us calling that out, that made you just like, oh, I'm never doing it again. Well, that's a you problem, because there are plenty of men out there that will still have no problem approaching a woman because they don't lack the self-confidence. They know how to read social cues. They know how to read the room. Yes, there are certain places where like, get the fuck away from me. If I'm squatting at the gym, seriously, wait until I go get a drink of water. You know what I mean? There are times and places and you guys don't get it. And that's where the social cues come in. So if you're the one saying modern feminism did this, babe, it's a you problem. Sorry to say, that's a you problem.
Is it a man's problem though? I mean, the men aren't approaching and there's no real downside to it. Right? If this was 1965, then there would definitely be a downside because you wouldn't be able to get any women if you didn't approach, but it's not. Those men who are actively not approaching can just go on dating sites and they're absolutely fine. So, yeah, and we're not the ones complaining about it all the time, it's the women. So in reality, it's a women's problem. You guys get the dopamine hit of being approached. The men do get a dopamine hit as well if they're successful, but it's clearly not as great as the dopamine hit of being approached because they've stopped doing it, right? Here's the thing. I think women had every right to come online and tell the creepy men to stop being creepy. It's something that everybody universally can agree with. that wasn't how the message was spread though. It's all men until it's no men. That's how the message was spread. So the good guys, the decent guys, the ones who maybe their social cues aren't the best, but at heart they're good people, and they would still approach women. Right? Maybe they'll be a little bit awkward with it. Maybe they're the ones who have stopped, and they're the ones in the ideal world you'd want to approach. Those creepy men who lack social cues, who do this, they're still approaching women, by the way. Still making it very weird for women, still catcalling women. It's the regular guys who are stopping.
I'll be real, yeah? If you already knew that your baby father was a deadbeat with the first child, what made you think to have a second? Why would you go ahead and proceed to have a second child? That doesn't make any sense to me. Now, yeah, I don't want to hear any complaints, bro, because you know what it is? He already showed you who he was with the first child. So what makes you think he's going to change with the second? That doesn't make any sense, bro. Once someone turns their back on the child, he will do that again. Yeah, he might come back and do a 360, but he will just cut again, bro. I can't lie. I've seen that too many times, bro. A real man will never turn his back on his kids, bro. That you get. And I'm not saying that's giving him an excuse to actually not be there, because no matter what, you should always be there for your kids, bro. Like, no matter how bad or worse the situation is with your mother, the mother of your kids, and do you get it? Like, make it work. And I know everyone's situation is different, but it's like, bro, some women, they love to complain about the baby fathers, but you went and had a second and the third. Like, bro, that's crazy. Like, you should have learned that mistake from the first, bro. No, the first one was a mistake. The second one, now you're playing with yourself, and some people have a third. You're getting mad now, bro. I can't lie. So don't bother complaining, bro. You bring it on yourself. Sometimes some of you need to look in the mirror and actually take some accountability, and actually, you get it, like, make it make sense. But anyway, sure.
I think it's the idea of thinking that they're going to change, or trying to change them, or thinking that, you know, this baby will be it. You know, this will keep us together. And in reality, it's not the case. But that need, that internal desire to want to change, like, bad men, or want to be with bad men, or want to get this bad man, turn him good, and then create a family, it's trauma. Something's missing from their childhood. We all know this, right? It's a community issue. It's not just a woman issue. It's a community issue. Everyone has their role to play. You fix how we're growing up in these households, all of a sudden, these bad men don't seem that attractive.
This generation makes me laugh. And it just, I don't know. As women, like, some of our expectations are really high, and it's starting to make me realize that, are we dating for the lifestyle, or are we dating for longevity? Because how can you ask and expect your man to be buying you Chanel, Louis Vuitton, Rolex, like all these lifestyle items, and you also expect him to buy the house, to move you into his house? But where does the man get a chance to save for that house when the expectation's so high? And I'm not being funny. A lot of girls, some girls can afford to buy it for themselves. So yeah, if you can, then I hear it. But the ones that can't, like, how you can't buy it for yourself, but you expect a man to buy it for you? I'm confused. When did this sense of entitlement come from a man's money? Like, for me, my expectation is my man goes and works, he saves, and then he moves me out into his house. Then once he moves me out into his house, we then start building on that foundation. The Chanels and the Rolexes will come. We're young. Why have I got a 15k Rolex on my wrist, but I'm going into my council flat? Does that make sense?
Well, they may also not come. And that's the reality of life. Most people will never have a Rolex. Most people will never be high earners. Even a lot of high earners most high earners will never have a Rolex. So, yeah, again, social media got people, it's so much worse for the younger generation. It's so bad. The 19, 20, 21-year-olds now, you would think, right? Oh, these are internet conversations. Nah, man, these young kids, these young, yeah, this is how they think the world is. These rappers, these entertainers. I mean, even this woman here, respectfully, speaking about how the Rolex will come. If you have 15 grand to spend on a watch, unless you're an idiot, you're probably making 5 times that a month. When you buy items, it shouldn't hurt, right? So if you're getting a watch or a laptop or whatever the case is and you're buying it cash, it shouldn't hurt your pockets. It should just be something that you do with your spare money, right?